Hello everyone, I'm Hana Elvina Maranatha with student number 123241053 and this is my partner.
My name is Marike Leunupun with last 3D student number 045.
And today we're going to present a scoping review of an article titled Feminism and Literary Translation, a systematic review. So basically this article explores how feminism is connected to literary translation, especially in translated novels. In this presentation, we will talk about the research objectives, methodology, key findings, and also give our own analysis and reflections.
Alright, so let's start with the research objective. The main goal of this study is to examine the trends in research related to feminism and literary translations. In addition, the researchers also want to understand how feminist translation theory has been applied in different studies, especially those focusing on translate novels. So it's not just analyzing on text, but review many previous studies to see the bigger picture.
Okay, moving on to the methodology. This study uses a systematic review method, which means the researchers carefully selected and analyzed previous studies in a structured way. They collected 33 studies published between 2005 and 2021 from several academic databases like EBSCO, ProQuest, and Google Scholar. After that, they used content analysis to identify patterns, themes, and important findings across those studies. So overall, this research is more about analyzing existing research rather than creating new experimental data.
So now let's talk about the key findings. One important finding is that research on feminism and literary translation has increased significantly, especially after 2019. This shows that the topic is becoming more popular and relevant in recent years.
Yes, and besides that, the study also found three main ways feminist translation theory is applied. First, many studies focus on the influence of gender and the translator's ideology. And this means that the translator's beliefs and perspectives can affect how a text is translated. And second, researchers analyzed feminist translation strategies such as adding explanations or modifying language to highlight women's perspectives. And third, they examine how gendered language is transferred from one language to another, which can be quite challenging, I think.
Yeah. However, this study also has some limitations. For example, it only focuses on translate novels and does not include other literary forms like poetry or drama. And also, many of the studies review are limited to certain language, especially English and Chinese. So the result may not represent all global contexts. Another limitation is that most of the studies use qualitative method, so there is less statistical or numerical data.
In our opinion, this article is very informative because it provides a clear overview of feminism translation studies especially. However, we think the research could be improved by including more diverse literary genres, not just novels. Also adding more quantitative analysis could make the findings stronger and more balanced.
Yeah. I agree with you. I also think it will be interesting if the study compared translations from different cultural perspectives like Western and Eastern contexts, because cultures plays a big role in how gender is represented in translations.
This article is highly relevant to English language and literature studies. It shows that translation is not just about changing words from one language to another language, but also involves ideology, culture, and power. So it helps us so much understand literature in a deeper and more critical way.
From this article, we learn that translations are not neutral. They can influence how story is understood, especially in terms of gender and identity. This really changed our perspective on translations and made us realize how important it is in shaping meaning. So, to conclude, this article provides valuable insight into how feminism influenced literary translation. It also highlights the importance of considering gender and ideology in translation studies. Thank you so much for watching our presentation.